May Day in 2006, when Latino workers and community members decided to march. The Smithfield workers decided to march. And they came to the union office and announced that they were going to close the plant. And I was, the lead person there, and I said, "Really?" I said, "Can I help?" So, Lydia, you were a part of that. And people closed that plant, and then a few months later, when the company was messing with people with these Social Security letters, people closed the plant again. Can you talk about what that was like, that march and that whole effort, and people being workers and being immigrants, sticking up for their rights as immigrants and as workers at the same time?
Oh, sí, cómo no. Me acuerdo de ese día. Fue un día grandioso, porque tuvimos tanta gente. La verdad que las líneas no corrieron ese día, porque faltaron tanta gente.
So yes, of course I can. I remember that day. It was a great day because there were so many people involved, and we shut down the plant. The lines did not run that day because there were so many people that didn't show.
La iglesia de la comunidad nos ayudó, se envolvieron también.
The local church community became involved and helped us out.
Me recuerdo que al otro día que fuimos a trabajar, oh Dios mío.
I remember the next day when we went to work, oh my Lord.
Solo nos mirábamos uno con otro, nos iban a despedir porque totalmente la compañía no trabajó.
And we would just look at each other and wonder, do you think they're going to fire us? Because that day the company did not work.
Había muchos afroamericanos que nos apoyaron. Fueron como nosotros ni creíamos que iban a hacerlo.
And we had a lot of African Americans that supported us, and it was something that we could not believe how much support we got.
La verdad que después de ese día, las cosas comenzaron a cambiar.
The truth is that after that day, things started to change.
Mucha gente cogió fuerza, se volvieron valientes.
Folks found some courage and became energized.
La verdad que sí, fue un gran día y no se nos va a olvidar nunca.
For sure, it was a great day that we will not be forgetting.
Inspiring thing to see people doing it, taking that kind of a risk, and the idea that that the company was powerless against people who by themselves had no power, but together had more power than the biggest pork producer in the world, Smithfield. But what was interesting is that after the Latinos closed the plant twice, the African American workers decided that this was sort of like this friendly, supportive kind of competition. They decided that they weren't going to let the Latino workers do this thing by themselves. And they started a movement around Martin Luther King, and Terry was in the front of that. You want to talk about that?
You know, it's amazing where you can draw strength from. You know, when the blacks actually seen the Latinos, shut down the plant, those times, in our plant, we didn't have Martin Luther King Day off. So that year, we asked Smithfield, listen, we need that day off. They was like, no way. So we said, okay. A few employees didn't come to work. They said we ain't going to work. It's a national holiday. So they stayed home. It wasn't enough to make a dent in the company's profits. So we got together that next year. We said, listen, if they don't give us stuff this year, nobody comes to work. Nobody. Smithfield got the win of us not coming to work, right? The following year, they say, you know what? Y'all can have that day off. Smithfield's all about money. It's all about profit, and the only way they're going to get it is if the workers come to work. They don't hire us because they want us. They hire us because they need us. They need us there in order to get what they're going to get. But when they found out that the workers wasn't going to work on Martin Luther King Day, they sent a memo out. Listen, next year y'all have that day off paid. You have to make sure you pay for it. it's like I was saying before, it's just amazing where you can actually draw strength, you know, and courage from. Because when the Latinos, you know, mustered up the guts to do what they did, we was like, you know what? Then we all need to do it. You know, and then if we all do it, then we'll definitely get somewhere. So, you know, with that step, now, you know, it's a national holiday for us as well as others around the country.
So, what's the time now? Okay, so I'm going to wrap up with something, and I got a question for Keith. You know, this morning I got to go through the plant. Took more than 2 hours. This is the biggest pork plant in the world. And all the time I was being the organizer, they were inside. I was never allowed to see that plant. You know, I couldn't even get into the parking lot because they had so much security around there. What was powerful today is I walked through the plant with these three folks and watching the company sort of tagging behind them, almost with their head tucked in their shirt, you know, like that they were in the front, the company was in the back, sort of trying not to, like, you know, be too obvious. And I thought of, like, Keith, for somebody that started back in '93 and spent more than a decade waiting to come back and came back feeling like you were by yourself. What's it like for you now to sort of walk through that plant and see that the company is now, that you guys have managed to flip this situation completely?
Yeah, me and Terry laugh about that a lot. Like, we'll meet with the company and they'll fire an employee, we'll get them reinstated with back pay. You know, we laugh about a lot that a couple of guys from livestock now tell a multi-billion-dollar corporation what they can and can't do. Yeah. And it's kind of surreal when I first came back and the first employee that I saved their job. It was kind of worth it, you know? Like, all those years, all that doubt. You know, when you're in the middle of a fight like this, you got doubt, all right? Sometimes you're going to ask yourself, why the hell am I doing this? You know, but that one employee that we saved, that first one, and you know, they're able to keep that paycheck. So the family doesn't suffer. You know, people don't realize how important work and a job is. And when some people get fired, it's like a death on the job. You know, I mean, that paycheck, that regular paycheck stops coming in. Now you got to worry about those bills that are due, the rent that's due, the groceries. And what about Santa Claus on Christmas for the kids? You know, so all these things affect our communities. You know, so protecting that job, but you know, it's sometimes it's surreal, but it is well worth it. It's well worth it. All the sweat, the blood, the tears, the doubt, the long nights, the long days, all the hard work that we put into these types of battles. There is a light on the other side. There is a value for why we do this. And sometimes you're going to think you're the crazy person in the middle of the crowd. You know, and sometimes you're going to question yourself. But find a reason of why you're doing what you do and hold to that reason. You've got to have a reason right here to hold to that reason and stay the course. And you will have victory as we did at Smithfield.